Hello, everybody. Welcome to Sports Shorts Daily. Ronnie Rantz alongside Tommy Krysan. Today presented by Tremonti's Meat and Seafood as TK joins us over at Tremonti's. Go see Mike and the gang over there. Get you all squared away. Thanksgiving right around the corner. No better place for turkeys and all the dressings and all the sides than Tremonti's. I'll be having a bunch of sides in Lafayette with the Rantz family this Thanksgiving as well. Today on Sports Shorts, we're going to talk a little bit about, of course, Saints, LSU football, the NFL. We got some gambling stories. We got that are going on. We got TK's Pelicans watch. You know, he's betting against the Pelicans on the spread the whole year, 6-5 as we speak. If you take UL basketball in the under the rest of the year, they play McNeese tonight. Tommy, do me a favor, look up what UL and McNeese, the line on that one is and the total. I'm telling you, UL basketball is like Northwestern State football. Just take the under, bet it 30 times. You're going to be 22-8. Okay, just go with it. Go with it. Don't look at the line. Don't try to figure it out. Don't try to think about it. Just go under for UL basketball this year every time.
Here
You'd
we
be
go.
3-0 right now, by the way.
McNeese State is a 14.5 point favorite, and the over/under is 133 and a
Ooh,
half.
that's a
Game
low number.
and the game is in Lake Charles. Let's point
Yeah.
that out. It's over there in Gumbo Gator country, but 14.5, 133 and a half are your numbers on the Cajuns and the Cowboys tonight in Lake Chuck.
Wow, that is a big spread, 14.5. Now McNeese doesn't look super impressive so far this year. They only beat Grambling by 6, and a lot of people went, "Ooh, Grambling beat Southern Miss last night at home." You know what I mean? And Grambling was favored in that game. So Grambling's a better basketball team. They're one of the favorites in the SWAC. McNeese, the roster of it, they went to the NCAA tournament the last 2 years representing the Southland Conference. Many close to the program think the roster's better than any of the last 2 years. Um, but 14.5 is a lot. I thought it might be 7 or 8, but 14.5. 133.5 is a low over under number. I was hoping it would be about 139, 140. 133.5 is low. But again, hold your nose, put your money on the under, and just go with it. Game is sold out tonight in Lake Charles. A difficult ticket. Sold out tonight in Lake Charles is that basketball game. Holds about 5,000 people, does the new arena over there at McNeese.
Well, Ronnie, all that proves is that the wise guys listen to Sports Shorts Daily, and they've heard you chirping about this
That's
and
right.
barking about it, and they said, "Hey, Sports Shorts Daily says so." They've
That's right.
moved the numbers around on you, okay?
Yeah, yeah. All right, Tommy. Speaking of the numbers, it was a little gambling with the FBI, the mob. We had another situation. 14 people arrested yesterday, and there's supposed to be ties to NCAA athletes that were acting as bookies, sort of a multi-level marketing of a bookie group. They had individual books that they were running athletes on campuses.
Yeah, I mean, this is getting bizarre, more and more bizarre every day. It was involving some college wrestlers. Okay, Ronnie, have you ever been to a college wrestling meet?
I have.
I have too. I had a cousin wrestled at Southern Illinois years ago, and that was one of those powerful wrestling schools back in the day. Actually wrestled in the field house at LSU against LSU, and I went to that. I was a high school kid. But there was some college wrestlers involved in this mafia-connected gambling ring, which, the gambling's been embraced in the last 5+ years by all sports, professional. We all got it on our phones. I mean, it's there. And so you had to know that some crazy stuff was going to happen, and it is all over the place.
Well, the good news, Tommy, is that if you're a college wrestler and you've got a book with the mob backing you, you don't have to pay any extra money for collections, if you will. You can just collect yourself, right? Nobody's not going to pay a college wrestler. Hey man, I owe you $500. Where's your money? They're gonna pay. But anyway, it's just wild. And look, this is just gonna continue. They had offshore accounts. This is gonna continue to grow. And the thing is that for a long time, you know, traditional books, there's bookmakers on every corner. right? And that's been going on forever. People gambling, people betting with bookies, no big deal. The only time that the federal government, FBI, or police, or ever got involved with bookies is when it fell in their lap in an investigation of some other kind. Tax. It's usually tax evasion type stuff. Maybe they had a wiretap going on with some bigger crime, and they just happened to stumble upon some big book job, and the information fell in their lap, but nobody's really out to get bookies, right? But it seems as if, though, because gambling is so mainstream now and it's so intertwined with business and state tax, and there's casinos on every corner, and there's that now there's like almost like a renewed interest in cracking down on illegal activity when it comes to gambling. So it's definitely a different time right now. Um, all right, LSU football. Big news coming out that Garrett Nussmeier may not play this week at quarterback. Still, where he's on the injured list as probable or whatever. That he's having some issues still with some nagging injuries that he's had throughout the year. Most people think, and I guess they indicated that it's sort of in that oblique area.
Yeah, well, and what tells me there is okay, he's not going to win the Heisman. LSU's not going to be in the playoff. So maybe he needs to heal up, get better, and get ready for. He's not going to be a first round draft pick anymore. So that tells me that. And I think if you're an LSU fan, whether you're going to the game Saturday morning or you're watching Saturday morning, they're going to find out more about Michael Van Buren on Saturday against the Razorbacks.
Speaking of the Razorbacks, what's the line? What's the over under, Tommy, on
The
LSU?
line has come down a notch. It's now 4.5. LSU's favorite. It was 5.5, but over and under went up a point to 57.5. Wise guys who we now know listen to Sports Shows Daily are thinking there's going to be a lot of scoring in the game.
I I think if you I, much is made that Arkansas's defense is so bad, um, and that LSU's defense is pretty good. I mean, it's been really good in spurts.
It's a coin
Uh,
flip.
but now you've got Van Buren at quarterback, who I'm not sold is going to go light up Arkansas. I'm not sure. I don't. This the way this offense is so dysfunctional this year, Tommy. Um, I'm not convinced that LSU's just going to move the ball up and down the field against Arkansas at 11:45 tomorrow morning. So, I again, I would have to take the under. I would say take the under in this ball game. Just because if you think LSU plays better at home, although the A&M game, throw that one out the window. I think there's a lot of we don't know what this game is going to be. How much motivation does Arkansas have? They've had an atrocious season. Yeah, they scored a lot of points, but now we're in the back end of this season where guys are starting to look at the portal. Guys are starting to look at transferring. Who's going to be the next coach at Arkansas. LSU's got the same distractions. LSU doesn't have Nussmeier. Last week was again a super dysfunctional game. Um, I am not. I'm just not convinced that LSU all of a sudden, because Arkansas's defense isn't very good, that they're going to go out there and light up Arkansas. Just not sold on it. And so because of that, I would, I'm going to take the under.
Well, I agree with that. And here we go, 11:45. Both teams ever an interim coach. All the distractions you mentioned. I think we're going to see a sloppy football game. I think a sloppy penalties all over the place, false starts. I don't think it's going to be a packed stadium. I just think it's going to be a ho hum football game. But somebody's going to walk out of there with a win. And even though LSU's favored by 4.5, I mean, I think it's a toss up of who ends up winning this football game.
By the way, speaking of uh, the 11:45 kickoff in the second quarter, at the fourth timeout break in the second quarter. I don't know exactly when that will be, but suffice it to say, it'll be sometime probably around the 5 minute mark, if I just had to guess. In the second quarter, the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame is going to be honored on the field during the commercial break. If you're watching a game at home, you're not going to see it. If you're in the stadium, you'll see it. But we're going to have Warren Morris, John Brady, Todd McClure, myself on the field tomorrow during that second quarter. We'll have a picture of Sylvia Fowles up on the jumbotron, and they'll be recognizing those four because they're going into the Hall of Fame class in 2026. And then, of course, we have our Hall of Fame celebrity golf tournament on Monday at the University Club and party Sunday night and all that at LeVare's. So look for that for those folks that are at the game. Yeah, pay attention sometime around the 5 minute mark in the second quarter is probably when they'll show everybody on the jumbotron and honor those Hall of Famers on the field. So looking forward to that.
And don't forget, radio changes tomorrow slightly. We'll be on in Baton
Yeah,
Rouge, right?
9:45.
Lafayette and Lake Charles, 9:45 to 11:45. Due to the kickoff, we'll be at the Walk-Ons in Brewley. We love going over there. You and I, will have some people on the phone.
Yeah, actually, we will not be on the air in Lafayette and Lake Charles because they are obligated contractually to carry the 2-hour pregame show for LSU football through the LSU Sports Radio Network. Because ESPN and Lake Charles and Lafayette carries the game, they have to carry the LSU pregame show. But we'll be on from 9:45 to noon, actually, in Baton Rouge on 104.5 ESPN Radio. So we'll actually be on the air the first 15 minutes that the game is happening. But we'll be on we'll be on early, 9:45. So you'll get 15 minutes of extra Sports Shorts Radio tomorrow, Tommy. If you live and you can also download the 104.5 app if you're not listening to us in Lake Charles and Lafayette.
Does that mean 15 more minutes of Joel Davis?
Ooh, I don't think so. I don't think we should do that to the people. I don't think we should do that to the people, Tommy. Just give you 15 minutes of Joel. We don't want to give you 30.
We'll give you 15. We'll give you 15 minutes of something else. Who knows? Maybe we'll talk a little more about Paul Skeens. How about that?
Yeah, Paul. 2 years. Best first 2 years of any pitcher in Major League Baseball history. Tommy, is that? I don't think that's much of a reach.
No, because you got back-to-back starts in the All-Star game, Rookie of the Year, Cy Young, ERA titles. The dominance is there. He's on a team that's not real good. He's lost some games 2-1 and 3-2 when you really should win those. No, it's a 2-year run. And then if you tag in 1-1 in the draft, round one, first pick, and you tag in with MVP in Omaha and a College World Series ring, it's about a 28-month run that's never been seen before.
And Livy Dunn is his girlfriend. So there you go.
Yeah.
But so we've seen this before, right? We've seen great players be on terrible teams. We've seen Nolan Ryan toil for years and years and years on bad teams, and be a dominant, one of the best pitchers in baseball. We've seen Ohtani, be on the Angels when they were awful. Trout be on the Angels when they were awful. But now Ohtani goes to the Dodgers. Now he wins another MVP unanimously. He's won 3 in a row. He's the greatest baseball player of all time. And that's crazy to say because he hasn't been around that long in the United States, at least. And I am comfortable in saying Ohtani's the greatest baseball player ever to live in the history of the game. I don't have hesitation in saying that.
I don't either.
We've never seen anyone do what he does. When he's healthy, he's one of the best pitchers in the league. When he's, when he can steal bases as good as anybody, he can hit home runs, he can hit for average. It's incredible.
You just hit the nail on the head. All the other stuff, and he also steals bases.
Right.
He's 6'3", 6'4". He's a physical specimen. Don't just tread lightly over the fact that he's a threat on the bases. Not as much now that he's pitching again, because I guess they don't want to hurt something. But in my opinion, there've been a lot of great baseball players, and with all due respect to a long list of greats, he is number one. He's the Michael Jordan of baseball.
All right, so there was controversy. Congratulations to Paul Skeens. Amazing story. And hopefully he'll get traded one day soon. The Pirates, by the way, came out this week, said we have no interest in trading Paul Skeens. Now, fast forward to next year, could be a little different, but this year, not so much. And look, if you're the Pirates, Tommy, you're going to have to eventually trade him at some point, right? Because you're not going to re-sign him. but you don't trade him until you have to. You are selling suites. You are selling tickets. You are selling sponsorships. You're generating a lot of revenue because of Paul Skeens being in your organization. And you cannot trade him until you get to that 11th hour when you know if we don't trade him, he's going to walk and we're not going to get anything for him. Because Paul Skeens is on the free, as soon as he can, will never be back. Um, as far as the American League MVP award, Aaron Judge wins the American League MVP award for the second year in a row. And I have no problem with Aaron Judge winning the American League MVP for the second year in a row. Statistically, he had an amazing season, the best season of anybody in the American League when you take into consideration WAR and all the stats and everything. But Seattle had a catcher that caught over 75% of their games and hit 60 home runs. That has never been done in the history of the game. They made the playoffs. Whenever you do something that is just so incredible that hasn't been done in 150 years, I'm in favor of sharing the wealth, and that has some folks a little upset.
Yeah, there was a lot of controversy. Now, here's the thing: he plays in Seattle, so 75% of the country doesn't know that he bats third. They don't know that he's a switch hitter. They don't know that he catches games and he throws people out more than most catchers because of he's on the West Coast. His home games are late at night in most cases. So certainly a controversy. I kind of think Cal Raleigh should have won it because of the home runs. He's a switch hitter. He's a good defensive catcher. And again, like I said, most people don't even know he bats third for the Mariners. That's just the New York versus West Coast thing in the eyes of the general population and the baseball fans. But certainly he had an MVP worthy type year.
Yeah, and look, I mean, it's the tie is excuse me. The tie is always going to go to the New York market, right? I mean, if it's a question mark on, it's more eyes. It's the bright lights. It's Broadway. And I got to be honest with you, Tommy. I really think you should get a little bit more credit for doing it in New York. It's harder to do it
Yep,
in New York, right?
much
When you
harder.
go to your locker and there's 50 cameras in front of your face and media every day versus five, that's a different pressure. In New York, you drive down the street and you go 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts, you're liable to have people yelling at you, cussing you, out the window, you bum, all that kind of stuff. They're not doing that in Seattle, right? They're offering you a Starbucks gift card, so it's a different pressure, it's a different experience, it's a different expectation when you put on the pinstripes and you have to do it in New York. Derek Jeter used to talk about it all the time, and so I get it. I mean, look, you can't go wrong with either pick. Aaron Judge is absolutely deserving of being the MVP. I probably would have loved to have seen it be a co-MVP type situation. And I'm in favor of, hey, this Riley guy season and what he did at that position, the hardest position in the baseball is the catcher position. To me, you get extra points that should have made the difference this year. All right, TK, what else we got?
Well, no, and I agree with you. They should have shared that particular award. So no, it'd be crazy to see, interesting to see what happens with LSU against Arkansas. And then we didn't even mention it today. They're still looking for a football coach. So, that's going to play out. I told some people last night, Ronnie, I said, there's going to be a day when you know who the football coach is. I just don't know when that day is going to be.
Well, the big conversation and really more than who it is when. If you got signing day the first week of the early signing period, first week of December. If you don't have a coach right after the last game, then you're going to have players go in the portal. You're going to lose recruits that not going to sign early. You're going to have to potentially at that point, wait a month. And it tells everybody going big game hunting for one of these big guys. It's it's a very difficult decision, not about who, but when. Do you wait till January because you're trying to get Lane Kiffin? or someone else in the playoff? Are you trying to steal? Do you have a realistic chance? Are you being told by their agent, "Yeah, hang in there, we're coming, hang in there, we're coming," or or do you like? If you're not sure, do you go, you know what? We can't really wait a month. We got to get this locked up as soon as the last game's over with.
I would
That's
say
that's
this.
the debate more than the person.
Correct. And I would say this. If the playoff starts and they don't have a coach, then I think the coach is in the playoffs.
I'm okay with that, Tommy, as long as you got your man, right? It can't be like we're hoping.
It can't be like Lincoln
Good.
Riley changed his mind at the last minute.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but if it's somebody who's not in the playoffs, then the sooner you name it, the better. And there's a couple of bubbles still out there on the playoffs that we don't know the 12 teams today. And a couple of things, we know who 6 or 7 of them are going to be, but we don't know all of them.
Speaking of playoffs, the selection committee chairman is resigned. The
Yeah.
Baylor athletic director stepped down for personal reasons. We know that there was a confrontation between him and an assistant coach and a player where allegedly he put his hands on the player or the coach or both. That was supposedly resolved internally, but we don't know if it's related to that or not. But long story short, he resigned as athletic director, took a temporary leave, and stepped down from the committee. The athletic director at Utah has now replaced him. Same conference, replaced him on that committee, and the athletic director at Arkansas is now the chairman. TK,
Well,
tell us about Tremonti's.
and that tells us it's not totally resolved. There was a problem with the color of an undersleeve shirt or something. Yeah, yeah, Ronnie. Big Wagyu steak sale today and tomorrow here at Tremonti's. They'll cut them the way you want them. Wagyu steak prices like you're not going to get anywhere else. This is the real Wagyu stuff. So today and tomorrow, ribeye strips, fillets, Tremonti's Wagyu steak sale today and tomorrow. They had it yesterday, but obviously Friday, Saturday, you need to check it out. And of course, Thanksgiving's less than 2 weeks. I ordered my ham today for Thanksgiving. You can order your turkey, your ham, your prime rib, whatever you want. Fried, smoked, rotisserie turkey, all the side dishes, the desserts. You can do it online at tremontis.com, tremontis.com, or stop by here on Jefferson Highway, right down the street from Parkview Baptist Church and School. Tremontis, you'll be glad you did. Come in and get your case of wine for the Thanksgiving day at your house, whatever you need. Tremonti's Meat and Seafood. Hey, don't forget radio tomorrow morning, 9:45 start. 9:45 will be on the air tomorrow morning in Baton Rouge from the walk-ons in Brewley. Hope you have a wonderful Friday. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Get you ready, set for LSU Arkansas.